My mother was over in Bunkerville when I was born, and it was my grandfather's house.
Cool.
And we lived in Mesquite, and just the house next to my grandma Reber's. We could walk through the field to get to her house, and my grandma had 3 sets of twins, and my dad was one of them. And so I don't remember all of theirs. I'd have to look it up.
What was his twins' name? Do you remember?
Leah and Leonard. It was a girl. Isn't that interesting to have a girl for a twin? Nita Ray is the oldest, and Ina is the young. Ina was born first, Nita Ray was born first, and then I was born 2 years later, and Ina was born 2 years after that, about. And then Clark and Ken were next. We had the ditch going in front of the house, and we played in that a lot, but trying to think.
Do you have a weeping willow tree?
We had an oleander bush that would go a little bit. It wasn't a weeping willow tree, but it had long things, and we could sometimes stand and move up and down on them.
Did you kind of hide under there and make a little hideout to play?
Oh, we did everything. that was. Nita Ray wasn't the player, but Ina and I were. She liked to read. She read a lot, and Ina and I spent our time playing. And even Clark and Ken got so they were pretty good, but they were a little bit younger, especially Ken. One thing we did was we had a big ditch, and we always went swimming in the big ditch. And we'd get in up here in the field and sail down, and we'd get out and walk back up and go down the ditch. It was about this big.
That was your
wide.
entertainment?
That was our love. We loved the summer.
How hot was it in Mesquite?
It's hotter than heck. Hades. You felt like you'd been down in hell someday. But we loved it. We could go swimming all summer and just had a good time. We had a haystack every year that Dad would have this big haystack, and we'd go climb up on it and slide down sometimes. And anytime we got a chance, he probably would holler at us if we did too much. But it was fun. Seemed like we did find some. We'd have to always go find the eggs because the hens would hide them. And when they lay an egg, they want to have a baby. And so that's what we just decided. So then if they had laid an egg, then they'd hatch it. Mm-hmm. And if they could hide them good enough so that we didn't get them. We had a horse, and Dad had sometimes he'd have calves or something down whenever they're small. And we had the basement. That was an interesting thing. When the water table got high, it would get water in it, and so we couldn't really. We played in it, but we probably shouldn't have. It was probably kind of dirty. Grandma Reber didn't like to be alone at night, and so she wanted someone to come sleep with her. So I'd go sleep by her. I don't know why Nita Ray didn't ever do it, and I don't know if she didn't want her or what. But for quite a few years, I slept with her.
Every night you just go down and sleep with her?
She'd sit and talk to me. In the winter, it was really neat because she'd have a little fire in the front room, and we'd just sit. And she didn't talk a lot. I mean, Grandma Levitt, she talked you to death, but Grandma Reber wasn't very talkative. that she'd sit with me, and if I found a book, sometimes I'd read to her, but I wasn't that great with books. But I did love books. I mean, I liked to read, but Ina was the avid reader. She could read books twice as fast as me.
Mm.
I read the books to think about while I'm reading, I guess. She just read through those books so fast. Well, we had to get up and help get breakfast and get, whatever, and then get the dishes done. And Mom was teaching school, so she would leave. Had to get out of there in a hurry, and I don't know, we just did things.
You made big.
I tried several things. What was the name of the one I had?
Tell us about your piano lesson.
Oh, piano lesson. Ina and Nita Ray both became very good at the piano. I was terrible. I could play if I could play slow enough, but I wasn't very good at it. But
How would you get to your piano lessons?
the one was over in Bunkerville, and we rode the horse over to Bunkerville to have our piano lesson.
How old were you?
Probably, we didn't start doing that one so far away until after I was probably 10 or 11. Mom tried to get us to be good on the piano, but I was kind of trashy.
Sell yourself short.
Anyway, Ina could play better than I could, and she was 2 years younger. Nita Ray played quite well too, but it was hard for me. So I just cheated.
You just sang.
Sang songs. We always had bread and milk for supper. That was just more, especially all summer and everything. It's just too hot to cook.
What did you add to your bread and milk?
Oh, bread and milk and jam, bread and milk and honey, bread and milk and what did you say?
Grapes.
Grapes. Oh yes, the grapes. I love those. Of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He was very austere. He didn't, wasn't a jovial person. But he'd talk to you, but it wasn't something. He never carried on much of a conversation with me that I remember.
Was he your principal
He
or
was,
teacher?
oh, he was my 6th grade teacher. And he could have been the principal too, for part of the time. But,
Was he strict?
I don't even remember if he was, but I was scared to death of him. I didn't want to. I was very unconfident. And the kids were kind of mean too. Some of them said mean things about my dad. Saying how he's something or other. I can't even remember what they were. I just remember feeling bad about it. But then after a while, he retired from teaching, and Mom started teaching then. And so she just taught 2nd grade, I think. And Dad stopped teaching. He loved having the kids sing. He loved music, but it was just hard for him. We went to summer school one year, and we went up there, and they had some steps where you go up to get from one end of the campus to the other. And we'd go out there and play on those, and we just loved it. We thought it was heaven, especially to be out of Mesquite. It was cooler, and we just, Nita Ray and Ina was quite little, so at that time, but
Tell how you got there.
Uncle Larry,
Did you rent a car? Did you ride in the back of the car, pile full stuff?
no, actually I think I got there by going with my uncle. He came up and I got to ride up with him and stay with Mom and Dad then. And maybe if he took me home, one way or the other, I rode home with him. Well, we were a little nervous about it. we thought maybe they were going to get loose or something, but we didn't worry too much. We just made sure that we were watching out for people. Oh, our figs! I love figs. I still wish I had some. They can't grow up here. It's too cold. But figs were one of my favorite things. If you've never had one, you've missed a lot. You could stand and just kind of peel them back, and then just eat the insides. They peeled back pretty good and everything. It was cool. But we had all these baby chicks, and 100 of them, and Dad it got cold, and so Dad put a thing on the ground, and their chicks only needed that much high. And anyway, he had it just round, and those little chicks would just go around peeping all the time. And what was it? Something broke. Oh, someone broke it. Dropped a bottle of something. They must have been getting it from Mom. Anyway, and it just crashed. And all those chicks just flopped over on their backs, just peeping. You had to stand them all up. This is Ina's story. That's one. They were so...
Scared him, knocked him over, huh?
They just scared them enough to they just flopped over on their backs. She had to stand them all back up. Oh, I've never heard of that happening before or since. It's a good story. They had I can't remember how they selected them. I don't know how, I can't remember exactly what the ritual was, how they did it, or how I got chosen. But somehow or other I got put in as the beauty queen, and that was,
Got something to do with it.
Was it the football queen?
Oh, that was it. It was a football queen, and Clark was just starting to play football. So he helped get that instigated, probably. I don't know.
Or you were just a popular girl.
I
Could
just-
just be that, Mom.
But he,
I used to have a picture of me as the football queen, but I don't know where it is.
hanging up in your bedroom.
I guess I better look at it.